The White House today saying further action definitely will be considered by the United States against Syria. The Trump administration has not been known to speak with clarity on its Syria policy, and today's Sean Spicer made comments which seem to suggest a new red line for the administration, and that's only adding to the fog of war after last week's missile strikes. Here's what UN Ambassador Nikki Haley told me yesterday on CNN's State of the Union.
Regime change is something that we think is going to happen because all of the parties are going to see that Assad's not the leader that needs to be taking place for Syria.
But there seems to be a different message coming from others in the administration, including from America's top diplomat, the Secretary of State. Let's go live now to the Pentagon and CNN's Barbara Starr. Barbara, does the U.S. want regime change in Syria, and will it force regime change in Syria?
Well, Jake, the one thing that is clear is the Trump administration wants Assad out now. They seem to all be in agreement on that point, that he has to go. But how you get that regime change suddenly may be sounding an awful lot like the Obama administration. As Syrian jets resumed combat operations at the airbase the U.S. struck, the Pentagon says the missile strike resulted in damage or destruction to 20% of Syria's operational aircraft, plus damage and destruction to fuel, ammunition, and air defense capabilities at the site. And confusion about what happens next.
Morning.
With the UN ambassador saying one thing about the future of Syria's dictator, telling CNN's State of the Union,
there's not any sort of option where a political solution is going to happen with Assad at the head of the regime.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson seeming to say another. As he heads to Russia, Tillerson emphasizing the Trump White House puts a top priority on fighting ISIS.
We believe the Syrian people will ultimately be able to decide the fate of Bashar al-Assad.
White House spokesman Sean Spicer acknowledging both goals.
We all recognize that that happens, and there can be a multi-pronged approach where you're ensuring that ISIS is contained and there's a de-escalation of the proliferation of chemical weapons, at the same time creating the environment for a change in leadership.
Tillerson, attending the G7 foreign ministers meeting in Italy, says the world cannot stand by and watch. State Department officials tell CNN Tillerson's message in Moscow: Russia bears responsibility for Assad's actions. And there may be more leverage as a dossier of responsibility for the nerve agent attack takes shape. According to U.S. officials, Assad either knew about this specific attack or had given commanders standing authority to use nerve agent. More chemical sites in western Syria likely exist, and scientists are still alive who know how to make nerve agent. The U.S. also looking for direct evidence Russian commanders on the ground knew about the planned attack. So, is there a new red line for the Trump administration? At the White House briefing just a short time ago, Sean Spicer, the press secretary, seemed to suggest that. He talked about barrel bombs, and that if there were gas-filled barrel bombs, that the Trump administration would seek to go after those, but not entirely ruling out going after all barrel bombs. So let's explain for a minute. A barrel bomb is a very deadly weapon used by the Assad regime. They throw these things, they're filled with chlorine or shrapnel or nails or other explosives out of helicopters. They cause massive death on the ground, not even from the chlorine, that's happened a few times, but from this other explosive power. If you want to draw a red line and start going after those helicopter-borne weapons, that would in fact be a massive military enterprise for the U.S. Jake?
That's right. Sean Spicer is saying that it would prompt a response. He didn't necessarily say what kind of response, but it is an interesting remark. Barbara Starr live at the Pentagon for us. Thank you so much.